A Million Ways to Die in the West. Fucking hilarious. Okay, story is, a coward in the dumpy old western town finds this girl, Anna, played by Charlize Theron, and unwittingly falls in love with her and actually decides to become a better person. Unfortunately, he soon realizes that her boyfriend, or actually her husband, is the most dangerous outlaw in the entire West. Clinch Leatherwood. Yeah, I know, fucking hilarious to those who know westerns or Clint Eastwood. Of course, let's start out with the humor. Of course, the story was good, but the humor was just freaking hilarious. I mean, everything was just funny from beginning to end. And it wasn't just one type of humor, it was different types. I mean, it was a parody humor, because this is a western, so they made fun of different things with westerns. If you have never seen a western, you probably do know what a cliche western is, just from, just from everything you've seen throughout your life, or just, implanted memories throughout generations. The parody humor, also just silly humor. Some of the humor was just plain silly, or some of it was, there was also outrageous humor. Some of it was just outrageous. Like, I mean, that is just completely inconceivable, but it's so fucking hilarious. And there was also just smart humor. Some of it was actually pretty good. And of course, there was just perverted humor as well, and that's kind of typical with Seth MacFarlane, but that is still funny. The sets and locations were also good. I mean, it was a pretty good western. It was a cliche western town, and they made it look very much western. Same thing with the costumes and everything, and it looked like a real like it was set in the real Wild West. I have to admit the characters were good. Not really a development, just because this isn't the type of movie of development. Although Seth MacFarlane's character development was pretty well planned out and done. But the characters were all interesting themselves and funny. Like, Sarah Silverman was perfectly cast. I mean, perfectly casted. I mean, she plays this Christian prostitute who's dating this Christian virgin who's played by Giovanni Ribisi. And she's just a prostitute, and she's saving herself for having sex with her boyfriend until marriage, and yet she's sleeping with 10 guys a day with her prostitution job. And it's just hilarious, and some of the things she says is just so hilarious in her voice, too. Oh, it's just so funny. Of course, nobody can say anything about Charlize Theron or Liam Neeson. I mean, they're obviously were just perfect. Although I have to admit, it was great to see Liam Neeson in a comedy like this, even though he was playing very serious and very evil. It was great to see him in a humorous movie like this. I mean, he was funny without trying to be funny. And Seth MacFarlane was good. It was actually good to see Seth MacFarlane actually act in a movie, not just be like Ted, where he was a CG character and you just heard his voice, although he was motion captioning it live in the movie. But for this movie, it was great to actually just see him as an actor act, and it was actually pretty cool. And let's see, what else? Zoom act, and then there was the characters of Neil Patrick Harris. Neil Patrick Harris playing this pompous, assholey, mustache wearing and twirling person. I mean, he just played it perfectly also, and he had that great voice too. It was just perfect. It was like very pompous, and he was just like, "Oh, I'm so sure of myself," and this. It was just so fucking hilarious. CGI was good. There was a couple scenes that had CGI. There was only like, I'd say like maybe like one gunfight in the entire movie. Actually, I think there was a couple actually. Yeah, there actually were a couple, and they were actually pretty good. They were quick because of, just one shot, ended all. There was actually also good fight choreography. There was one time in a saloon, a bar fight breaks out and everybody starts fighting, and it was actually pretty good choreography. I mean, it was just simple choreography, but it was still good. And of course, you got in the corner Seth MacFarlane and Giovanni Ribisi pretending to fight each other, and they're just doing this the entire time. It was pretty hilarious. But yeah, everything was very well done, I have to admit. Locations, everything was just great. And I know critics don't really like this movie. I mean, as of filming this review, I think it was like in a 30% rotten on Rotten Tomatoes or something like that. I can kind of see why they would see that, but at the same time, it's like, it's a movie I thoroughly enjoyed myself with. I mean, I laughed hysterically, and I loved every minute of it. Um, if you're just looking for a funny movie to watch, just to laugh at, this is the movie for it. If you're looking for a movie to watch, watch with your friends, here's the movie. If your significant other has a good sense of humor, it's a good date movie. Or it's just if you're a fan of everybody in there, or just a fan of that type of humor, or Seth MacFarlane and the people of Family Guy in that, go and see it. And you know what? I have to say, I haven't seen a good parody movie or a true R movie in years. I mean true R movie. I mean, they were swearing galore in this. I mean, galore. I mean, they were saying shit, fucking all that throughout the entire movie. And it was bloody at times. And also, and also with the parody. I mean, I haven't seen a good parody movie, especially a Western parody, since Blazing Saddles, that Mel Brooks co-wrote and he directed. And that was like the 70s. I mean, there hasn't been any good parody movies in years. And this is like one that is like golden. And I'm sure if Mel Brooks ever sees this movie, he would be proud of these people, all the people associated with that worked on this movie. He would be proud of them all. I'm sure of it. And this is just a fucking awesome movie. And I give it out of 5 stars, 3.5 stars. I mean, it was just thoroughly enjoyable. I know in the future, Seth MacFarlane has other movies planned. He has, of course, Ted 2. We all want to see that. And he's working on a Family Guy movie, which would also be pretty cool to see. But I'm not sure about other projects, but I would like to see more of what Seth MacFarlane can do with film. I mean, we would know pretty well what he's done with television. He's been doing a really good job with television. There's no denying that. And it's just, I'd like to see what future Seth MacFarlane and his friends can do with the future with film as either humor or drama. I'd like to see him do a drama. I'd be interested to see him do a drama. But comedy is his, bread and butter, so let's see what else he can do with comedy. And I'd like to see more of that.